Good morning. Woohoo! Day 5 of our sugar detox challenge. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm so excited to be here. If you're seeing me on a YouTube channel or a Facebook business page, then you might want to jump into our free group, which is all about supporting busy moms trying to find your energy and kick the sugar cravings without diets, without counting calories and deprivation. So join me there. You can find that link in the notes. So I wanted to recap and kind of bring this all together for you to get you some help. Thank you for joining me. So, first of all, day 1, we talked about the awareness of what symptoms do you have. So, we talked about do you have tiredness? Do you have the achy joints that happen? Do you have bloating, digestive issues, sleep issues, brain fog, and sugar cravings? So, typically, those sugar cravings are happening because your blood sugar is out of balance. There definitely is a mental piece of it as well, a cravings piece of it that we can, that we talk about a little bit more in this group. But the physical symptoms really are telling you something. All right. Oh, no, still horizontal. No worries. Thanks for joining us. I'm guessing that might be my friend there. I know who you are, so I don't see your name on here, but I'm excited to have you join me. So we just kind of started with that awareness of what are the symptoms that you're feeling in your body. And then also just let's bring some awareness to the food that you are eating. So where is the protein? Where is the fiber, which is really vegetables and low sugar fruit, berries or apples? And then also where is the sugar? So kind of balancing those two things, because if you so we want to just be aware of where all of these things are. That was day 1, and let me go back to my point for day 2 before I get ahead of myself. So where is the excess sugar, and how balanced is your diet and what you're eating? So that was day 1. So it's important to start with that, because nothing happens without awareness. And a lot of times, looking at those symptoms and combining it with the food, if you're looking at the symptoms and you're looking at your food, you can sort of begin to make that connection of, oh, there is a connection here. And once you can make the connection that I'm feeling bad because of what I'm eating, or how I'm eating is related to how I'm feeling is what related to what I'm eating, that can help start to rewire your brain. So that's why we start with awareness, and that's why it's important to look at those two things together. Now, day 2, eating for blood sugar balance. So this alone has a huge impact on your cravings, just huge. If you just focus on taking away the sugar, it's not going to last very long. So typically what people do when they're doing some kind of a sugar detox challenge is they just start with, I'm not going to eat any more sugar for these 5 days. And that's fine, but it's also a very simplistic approach that's not going to last, because if you're not adding things in and balancing things, it's going to feel like, number 1, I can't eat anything good and this is so unsatisfying. It's going to feel like deprivation. And you will be so hungry that you might be able to get through 5 days, 10 days, whatever number of days, but you are going to be miserable. And as soon as it ends, you kind of go right back to where you were, and maybe more so. So maybe it lasts a little while, but you end up going right back because you haven't addressed the underlying root cause. And the underlying root cause is that your blood sugar is up and down and up and down and up and down, which is causing all of those effects. And it's also causing your sugar cravings. So we want to add in protein. Protein is the cravings killer. We want to add in healthy fat. Healthy fat is so satisfying and it keeps you full. We want to add in the fiber. That's the vegetables and low sugar fruit. Technically, low sugar fruit is any berry and green apples, but I kind of say just apples, because if you can't get any green apples, a red apple maybe is a little more sugar than a green apple, but it's better than, some other things. So it's important to add in those healthy things so that your blood sugar stays steady. And that's going to at least take away the biological part of the cravings. And I've seen people really lose a lot of their cravings by focusing on eating that way. And they tell me I was not hungry at all. And I really didn't miss most of the sugar at all. So that's amazing. So that's really the starting point to be able to do this is let's add in all of the good things so that you're not unbalanced. So that was day number 2. So, also one of the other points I wanted to make on day number 2, which is filling up with delicious proteins. Did you know that some of these proteins can be in the form of chocolate? Yes, it's true. So, I will share with you some chocolate protein balls and some other kinds of things that you can make that are protein packed, and they can help kind of keep you full and not feeling, super uh, you don't feel like you're missing out. So, and we want to have a balance because we want to make sure that we're helping to wean ourselves off the sugar, but also to be able to add in the protein. So that's day 2. Now next, so you can eat for balance, and that will take you a lot of the way, right? That will help with a lot of the cravings. And once you start eating for balance, that's great, but we all know what happens. So when you start something new, it's really novel, and that novelty helps you stay on track. So if you're doing a program or something new, let's say you do a 10-day program, you do a 30-day program, you will do great on that program because you are doing it with other people and you have accountability, and it's a novel thing, so you'll be able to stay on track. But what happens when that program ends? What happens when everyday life comes back? And everyday life includes a lot of busyness, and everyday life includes emotions. Everyday life includes stress and lots of other different things. That's when you kind of end up going back to where you were before. So we get busy and you struggle to keep up with it. So this is really where the mind management comes in. So understanding what are your triggers, what things pull you off the plan when you know what you need to do. Is it being too busy? Do you need some easier habits? Is it emotional eating? So we kind of look at those things as well. Also, on day 4, we looked at emotional eating itself a little bit more, which we talked about the nail tool, which was name it, allow it, investigate the thoughts that it's producing, and look for a better thought. So you can dive into more of these by going back and looking at the videos and the resources from these days. And you can find that in the guides. So those are some of the things that we talked about. And I know this challenge has been a little bit more complicated because if you look at some of the other challenges we've done, hydration and protein and fruits and vegetables, those are really basic. So we're just adding something simple in. This is a little bit more complicated. So that's sometimes it's a little bit trickier because we're talking about multiple moving parts that we're doing. So, if you've been intrigued by the content that we've been talking about and finding it helpful, and if you're finally ready to feel better, we know that these are the changes because we've seen it over and over again that can help put you on the right direction. So, think about how many years you've wanted things to change, and maybe you try a little bit and you struggle to put it all together. Uh, Without feeling deprivation. Maybe you go for a little while and then you kind of end up back where you were, and you go for a little while and you end up back where you were. So I'll be launching our next round of the Balanced Body Experience next week, and this is designed to finish before the US Thanksgiving holiday. So if you're in another country and you celebrate Thanksgiving, I don't know when necessarily that falls, but the US Thanksgiving is usually in the 3rd week of November. So we will be done by then, and you can always, stop early. But here is what we are doing on the Balanced Body Experience. So we are eating for blood sugar balance, but we put it all together for you. So we do this, we take a week to get ready to do this, and then we do it for 4 weeks together. And you can continue on if you want with that, but you get 12 weeks of meal plans that are kind of put together that you can choose from, so you're not locked into those things. And we're eating real food. We also have some tools that we're using to help us get through it. We help you figure out how to have the time to be able to do this, how to find the things that you like to do this, what's going to work for you, and we do the accountability together. Also, life is busy. So a lot of times people think, oh, this is a program is fine, but how much time does it take? So this whole program is really about how to do this with a busy lifestyle. So if you have a family, if you have business, if you have a business, if you have kids, if you hate to cook, that's all perfect because that's me. Those are all exactly me. And that's what this program is designed for. That's my life. And we show you how to do that. So that's what we do in week 2. It's all about how to do this when life is busy, how to do this when you don't have any time to cook, you really don't like to cook, things like that. And there's plenty of a range of different things that we can make. The week 3 and 4 are really, I think, the secret sauce, because week 3 and 4 is where we are looking at the mindset, because willpower really is a myth. So there is really no such thing as willpower. It's really all about knowing your mind. So the people who say, oh, you just don't have the willpower, or the people who think that, are the people who they're already eating for blood sugar balance. They are already have good mind management techniques. So it's really not accurate to say it's willpower, because that's not what they're using. They're using mind management techniques, which is understanding how your brain works, with things like the nail tool that we discussed. And there's lots of other different tools that we use. So it doesn't matter what style of eating you choose, and it doesn't matter what eating plan you're on. So if you're doing Weight Watchers, if you're doing keto or intermittent fasting or something else entirely, really the secret sauce is your brain, knowing how your brain works to stay on it. Because you can do Weight Watchers for a while and then kind of end up going back to where you were before. So really what we do in the brain science is figuring out how we do this when your triggers get in the way, when life gets busy, when you had a hard day, when you don't feel like doing it, when you're start to get these feelings of deprivation, or just different things like, oh, that's not fair. Why can they have it and I can't have this? Or how do you deal with those kinds of things? All of the different things that kind of take you away. Or also just the drifting, the slow drifting. Have you ever sort of just quietly walked away from something you were doing almost without even realizing it? Like you look back and you're like, when did I stop going to yoga? When? I don't even know when that happened. When did I? And it wasn't even a decision that you made. Like, I'm not going to go to that yoga class anymore because that style of yoga is not good for my back. Or, I'm not going to do running anymore because I would like to focus on a different type of exercise instead. You actually made a conscious decision. There's so many times we just drift away. So how do we prevent the drifting away? We talk about that too. So we really want to help you make it a lifestyle in weeks 3 and 4. So we also do use some support products. We use a detox tea. And I think there's a few of you that I owe you information about the detox tea that helps with liver and kidneys. And really, saying you have a sluggish liver is the same thing as saying you have a sluggish metabolism. So we want to help the liver detoxify, because that is the liver is the organ that's most closely associated with weight loss. So it's important that we take care of that. Also, probiotics, most people know what those are. That's great, but digestive enzymes, because when you're eating food, if your body is not able to break it down, it just sits there. And number one, you keep it. And number two, you get gas and bloating from that because it's literally just sitting there and decomposing. So we want, and number three, you're not getting you're not absorbing the nutrients from that. So that's another thing to recognize is you can be eating great food, fruits and vegetables. You might not be absorbing the nutrients from that if you're not breaking it down. So we make some of our own enzymes, but this decreases as we age. And also, we need to get some from our food as well. And then the last thing is because life is busy and we know that packing your morning with protein is really a cravings killer. We see lots of different studies on that. We do use a protein shake that can help keep you full. Now, if you are allergic to everything under the sun, or you already have your own products that you love, you can use those. You can just do coaching and accountability with us as well. So that's another way to do this. So there are 3 ways to win and finally nail this with us is one, get a full round of coaching and a free product by being a connector. And I can give you more information about that. It's basically connecting to other people you think could benefit from some of the information that we're talking about. There are some specifics around this, but basically, this is just kind of sharing. If you're learning things in this, or if you're discovering things about yourself and you think that there are others that could benefit from this learning, that is how I grow this group. And that is also how I grow my business and what I do. And so I reward you with either, you can do a free round of coaching with me, as well as a free product. You can join us for the full program, which is right now I'm using 4 support products for this particular round available, which is the ones that I talked about. So this is a great deal. This may not be around for long. It's in the US, it's 138. I can't read. I don't have my glasses on. 138.40 in the US for all of the support products and all of the coaching to be able to do this. And this is available in several countries. The pricing may be slightly different in other countries. And number 3, as I mentioned, if you are allergic to multiple things and you have your own products that you're using that you love, as long as they're quality products, that's great. Just use those. Bring your own products and just join us for the coaching and accountability. Right now, this round that is 67 for the coaching and accountability. That includes, we're going to do a custom session with you to help figure out what your goals are and how we get you there over these weeks. Check-ins. I do text and email check-ins during the week, as well as all of the meal plans and lots of, I think it's like 37 different value-packed emails that you can save and go back through as you need to. So these are valid until next Tuesday, October 25th. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And all of the information from this challenge will be available in groups, and you can go back and look at it, particularly look at day 2, because there are some free downloads that are pretty useful. The 3-day meal plan that you can use to kick sugar, as well as the snack freebie. And lots of other things in there. So thank you so much for joining me. So you will have until Monday to review and comment on any of these, and then I will choose a winner on Monday, and I'll put out a reminder for this as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to know what was the most impactful thing from this challenge. All right, have a great day.